Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and how are we all today?
I'm great.
Doing great, buddy.
My mic was muted. I had a good scream there. You didn't hear it. I went, ah!
How are we, my friends?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing
Making
awesome.
a post real quick to get the word of ABJ out there. So just
Fair
give
enough.
me one.
I appreciate
one
that.
moment.
I appreciate you doing that and
Oh, no, I was sharing my channel. I'm sorry. I'm just putting a like, hey, go subscribe to my thing channel. Yeah.
Nothing
sorry.
wrong with that. I mean,
I am actually sharing yours though on my collaborations with ABJ.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
ABJ showing some love.
I'm trying my best.
What did you think of the new short intro?
It was good. Much better.
Much better.
Yeah. I think it hits the point.
And I do have to say thank you to Kai for the actual graphic for it as well. So
look at that. Kai doing big things.
Hey.
Kai supplied us the graphic, so that's new, and I want to thank him thank them for that. That was fantastic. How is everyone doing anyway?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. Just been doing a lot around here, just trying to keep myself busy so I don't lose my mind. And just trying to find work still. The channel got monetized, so that's pretty exciting. So we're at a point now where I can get super chats and donations and all that fun stuff, which is always helpful for the channel. We got some people signed up for memberships and donations. So just kind of we're trending in the right direction from on the ABJ side for the content.
There you go. That is fantastic to hear, my friend. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to see that you are succeeding and getting where you need to be.
6 years in the making. Takes time, but what we got there.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, and look, I know you're not going to stop from here.
No, not at all. If anything, I'm probably kicking it up more than I should be.
And how are you, Steven?
I am doing awesome, buddy. How you been doing, Raz?
I've been good. I've been working a hell of a lot, but trying to keep up with everything that's going on in wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's go to thoughts of the overall show before we get into it.
I was expecting more. I'm gonna be honest. I thought when he first promoted this show, Big Business, he said this is going to be a show that will change the landscape of professional wrestling. This will be a night that'll be talked about forever. And it was the worst kept secret in wrestling that Sasha or Mercedes will be there. I expected they were going to hit a little heavier with some more moments and more big time things that would go down there. And they really didn't. I'm not saying it was a bad show, but I think my anticipation was built up higher than it normally is, especially coming off last week's show. Coming into this week, I felt like this week was going to be treated bigger. And while we did have cool matches and cool storyline progression, I don't think it hit on the level that I was expecting it to.
Yeah, you're not alone there. I don't think that this show was as strong as last week. Last week was amazingly strong. I think that there was a good flow to the show this week, but I think also that we definitely lost a lot of what could have been done. There could have been a lot more for it.
Yeah.
What about you, Steven?
Yeah, to me, like what Anthony said, to me, it's not really big business. It's not much, show wise.
Yeah, I think you're right, ABJ. They put it as a this is going to change the landscape, and it didn't really deliver in that regard.
Yeah.
I think I might be looking too much into it, and without spoiling anything, there's a wrestler I feel like a lot of people are getting behind, and it's someone who has started on the independent level and worked their way up. And now it seems like she's going to be Mercedes' first person, possibly after she wins her first title. And it's kind of like, oh, okay. So Mercedes is going to come in and pretty much take this title off her. And it kind of sucks as a fan of that wrestler because I respect Mercedes. I respect what Mercedes has done for the business. And what we don't know a lot of the uncertainties of Mercedes when it comes to her character behind the screen, right? So like,
Yeah.
where we can kind of relate to her in what she's been saying about certain aspects. In the like, hey, if I'm at an airport or I'm leaving my hotel room, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered by fans. But then also, like, when you go to press conferences and a fan goes, hey, why did you leave WWE? And she goes, none of your business. It's just like,
Yeah.
you're kind of abrasive to your fans. Like when people see that, you're kind of like, it's like we owe her something. And it's the other way around. Like, you're only as good as how much your fans get behind you. And she's been one kind of tote that line of respectful and not respectful, but also on the same token as we get it, like, wrestling fans shouldn't be stalking for autographs at an airport, but they do, you know?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
At the end of the day, it is a double-edged sword, right? So there are creepy fans who sit at an airport and wait for autographs so they can go sell them on eBay. But also, some of those fans who wait at the airport and wait at these places to meet you, they can't afford backstage access at WWE for hundreds of dollars and can't afford con prices to meet you for high dollar amounts. Like, they're kind of poor fans who are just risking it to try to meet you so they can say they had that experience, because not everyone has money like that.
Exactly.
So there is that double-edged aspect to it. And she is someone who now twice in a WWE standpoint was told she had to lose titles and walked away. Now, is there more to that story we don't know, because the person she was battling with is now in a lawsuit? You know what I mean? Or two people she was battling with are now in lawsuits of not being amazing to female talent. There might be a whole nother story we're not aware of, and that's why she is the way she is. But we don't know that as fans. So there is that one stigma to her as a wrestling fan is, well, how long is she going to be here, and is she going to play ball, and is she going to be a team player to the company we love?
Agreed. I think you're right. I've always been outspoken about her, and my opinion on her is that I do not enjoy her as a wrestler. I do not enjoy her as a talent. That's just my opinion. Has she put in the work? Yes, I'll give her that. Has she been a part of a big movement? Yes, definitely, but just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and even in her promo, just to kind of kick things off, sorry to step on your toes here, Raz, but they were kind of saying, how do we start this? I said, it's the worst kept secret. It's like Punk coming. We all knew Punk was going to be there tonight. Start the show with it. And they did. Yep. And she came out and cut a promo. But her promo was essentially like, thank you, but here's all of my accomplishments that I did. And not so much like, thanks for, I don't know. It was kind of like a self-serving promo. I was like, I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that. And this is why I'm a big deal. And this is why it's big business.
Yeah. It wasn't like Punk's return when he came out and said, thank you to everyone, and that he's back after so many years off of wrestling.
Yeah. We should send this guy an invite.
This guy. Yo.
Send him an invite to jump in here. Get that jabroni. Get that jabroni. Long Island jabroni up here.
And we got Alex back on the Twitch side.
What's going on, Alex? I always get confused because it's not our Alex, right? That's a different Alex.
Correct. It's a different Alex. It's our Twitch fan Alex.
Twitch fan Alex. The one person who watches us on Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only one on Twitch.
Yeah, the solo.
There you
solo
go.
Twitch user
on Twitch. The only person who still watches Twitch.
I should probably just make them a mod on Twitch, because in case it does blow up, they've been there. They've been a day oneer.
There you go.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you're right. No, definitely we got there. You got into it straight away, ABJ. You might as well. We're there now. We got C. Henry in the chat as well for us. So following across, ABJ, you've got your fan following across. And let's bring him in, shall we? Yep. Here he is.
Jabronis I see are you three right now. All right.
First off, how dare you?
Hey.
What's going on, everybody? How are we?
Good, right, my friend. How are you?
Good. That was an interesting show. I'm happy to see Mercedes.
Yep.
We just kind of buried her. No, we didn't bury her, but we kind of said where we kind of stand on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, and I even heard you say it too, ABJ, on your thing too, was that, Tony kind of hyped the show as this thing that was going to start moving the needle, start to make a big, jump in a pond type of thing. And all we got was Mercedes, which isn't a bad thing, but I thought maybe some things would be changing. I thought there'd be some type of enhancement in some storylines. Like clearly we're going to be getting Willow and Mercedes down the road, especially during this TBS title run that she's might be going on. Wardlow losing, which now
Crazy.
kind of goes back to what I was, me and you were talking about the other night, where now does this start that Wardlow has to be terminated from the Undisputed Kingdom because he's a liability more than an asset? And if so, does that then factor into Long Island's Finest coming back, where they start dismantling the Undisputed Kingdom? And then eventually MJF has to put the final nail in the coffin for not only him and Wardlow, but for him and Adam Cole. And whether we put a title around it or we want to put a fancy fresh coat of paint or whatever is up in the air still. But at least it enhances and continues the story that is still being told, whether Adam Cole is injured for another 3-4 months or whatever the case may be. So I don't know, Eddie and Okada next week. Interesting.
Well,
Excited.
don't bury the lead. Ross is going to go through each segment.
Yeah. Sorry. I go all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And you think I'm the spoiler?
Yeah, no, I am terrible. Trust me.
It is Dylan's first time on the post Dynamite show, and I was like, "Oh, he is burying Raz's." Second.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna go through this whole show real quick with everybody.
Yeah, he's gonna come in, do his 15 minutes, talk about what he thinks of the show, and then bye guys. Pick up the pieces
later.
Yeah. Fucking rookie. These Long Island rookies.
It's not like I've been podcasting for over a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we've already gone through the moment at the Mercedes debut. Obviously, she's here now. What is everybody's first thoughts on her first promo? Essentially,
it's fine. It's kind of what I expected from her.
Yeah.
She's never one to not put herself over and speak highly of herself, which is a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it and how you take it. And
I think Lily has a question.
It's kind of what I've expected. What comes from Mercedes Moné.
As someone who's never seen any of her promos before, is she supposed to be face? Is she do we know yet? Because I feel like
she's face, but she's a much better heel.
I feel like she came off extremely. As someone who's not seen a single match of hers, a single promo of hers, anything like that, she came off very conceited, very egomaniac, very me. I'm the best. The best is here now. And I'm not saying that.
Hence why she's a better heel than a face.
I'm not saying that she's not good. I'm just saying it came off very heel for being the first thing I ever saw of hers.
No matter what, every time she's tried to be a face, she's always had that same attitude, and it's just never really worked for her. She always works better off as a heel. As I said, I've never been a fan of her. In my opinion, I don't think she's good. I don't think she's worth the money, but I respect the fact that they brought her in because she's got a name to herself. So,
and all we need to hear fans chanting CEO all the time.
My interest is how the back takes it. If there is people in the backstage area who are split on her being there.
Yeah. And if she's getting the CEO chants, just remember people were chanting for LA Knight.
Or what?
Or what for Austin. So we had all of that as well.
Right. Yeah, I was happy with what was said. Clearly, her emotions got over her a lot throughout that promo, and you kind of saw it being in her home state, being back on the U.S. soil from her tour in Japan, which has been very exciting. Unfortunately, being injured for most of it, but it's exciting. I am happy to see her back. I'm happy to see that she has a lot of ambition and goals and is really to enhance the talent that is back there and start working with a lot of the women that are in that roster, whether they're coming back from injury or just starting off in AEW's roster itself. So I am very excited for that. I think she's going to be a very big asset for the women's division going into the ending of 2024. But you know, we definitely hear that Willow looks to be the first one that she has to overcome before anything else because of the injury that happened.
Here's a quick question. Let's look at trade-off. AEW loses Jade, who physically, look-wise, is a freak of nature, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. Just there's not many humans in human beings or women, men or women in the planet who look like a Jade Cargill. So that's a huge take when it comes to a Hollywood status of a human being, of, you know, just the star power of what Jade Cargill will be. But when it comes to a professional wrestling standpoint and putting on matches, and when it comes to in-ring work, Mercedes is at one point in time top 5 in the world as a professional wrestler. So AEW gets the work rate where WWE gets the girl who's still kind of green but has a look that could sell $1 million, like who could be $1 million sell.
Right.
Yeah.
How do we look at that trade-off between two companies? Who do you think won so far?
AEW.
I think AEW gets the win on that for the presence and for the experience overall, because Mercedes is going to bring in people, is going to bring eyes to the product, because she can work with the younger talent to build them and help get that.
If that's her motive, she might be just coming in and being like, "Hey, I'm not here for anybody else but me."
Yeah, if that's her motive.
We don't know her chemistry backstage is like right now. She could be a nightmare backstage.
It could be CM Punk version 2.
I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying you never know.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those things. You never know how it's going to play out. We just have to wait and see. Hopefully, for AEW's sake, it's not another CM Punk disaster.
Hopefully, from a fan standpoint, I'm just sick of hearing dirt sheet nonsense. Like, let's just make good wrestling. I don't care who you are. Let's just get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this. I would say that AEW definitely won in the sense of this whole little Jade versus Mercedes thing for sure. Because like you said, you know, Mercedes has a longevity experience of not only wrestling, like she mentioned, chaotic wrestling from her home state, going into WWE, NXT, making that whole evolution and revolution of women wrestlers during that time in NXT, then going to WWE and becoming a staple for the women's division. And then over in New Japan, yes, it was very short of a reign because of the injury. She only had roughly a few matches, but
right? She wrestled, won the title, and then lost it to Willow because she broke her ankle during the Willow match.
Right, exactly. So, but still with that long list of different mats, different places, different settings, she does get a little bit more of she has a little bit more to her than someone like Jade, who's really been only in the AEW setting and now is doing WWE work. And because of that, she's still green. We haven't seen her on TV except for the Rumble. We've only been knowing her presence because of her media presence that WWE has been pushing her as, you know, handing titles off to celebrities and hanging out with the kids and being on the football stadiums. Like, that's really what Jade's been doing. She's not in the ring, and Triple H has said it on his press conference. Like, you know, we have to wait still. She's, in a sense, not ready in his eyes. So, like, we're waiting for that moment to finally pull the trigger for Jade, when yet Mercedes could start wrestling next Wednesday, Saturday, if anything. And, you know, that is a big advantage that AEW got out of that, for sure.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Bringing this up, Alex says she has to change her finisher. What do you think on that? The new finisher that she debuted in Japan. she did tonight at the end of the show.
Julia took it fine. It looks weird, like
innovative.
There's a lot of setup to do it. Like we hook their arms and spin them and then spin them. It's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts of the move. But I mean, if the person can take it properly, it's fine. Her first ever chime coming out the gate will always kind of leave that bad taste in people's mouths because the first time she tried to do it, it didn't land properly. Like the person.
I don't think it has fluidity in the ring. Like it's not going to be a move that she can do from a position of where they've had solid back and forth, and then all of a sudden she's hit that.
Yeah, I think the first person to take it and then kind of mess it up was Kairi Sane, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Was in Japan.
She attacked Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane botched it. She landed on her knees.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Is it the Battle of the Valley, right?
I believe so.
Not Battle of the Valley.
No, it was Stardom.
Oh,
no, not Stardom. Not Stardom. What's their big
Kingdom.
super show? Wrestle Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was Kairi Sane versus who did Kairi Sane wrestle? I don't remember who she wrestled, but I remember at the end of the Kairi Sane match, Mercedes came out and then confronted her.
Right.
I think she wrestled 3 times in Japan.
And it was the third one where she got the injury.
Yeah, and I think the third match got her
hurt.
hurt.
The third one was the title match.
She was pushed off the turnbuckle, and that's where she broke her ankle.
Yeah. Here you go. Kai's on it.
Yeah, I knew Kai would be all over. Kai, was it 2 or 3 matches in Japan for Mercedes Moné?
I think
I don't know. I'm excited for her. I hope it sparks new life to the women's division. I hope she is successful. I hope everything we're saying is just it just blows over. None of it's gonna hold any water, and I hope it works out. Yeah. Like I just want pro wrestling to run smoothly, you know?
Yeah,
that's fair. Next segment was Joe backstage with Renee. Standard interview process, basically.
Well, guys, I really hate to do this. It is 10:40 here, and I still have an hour drive to get her home and then be back. I will be in the Discord a little later on, and we'll hang out. But everybody, keep supporting the Post Time on Show. Share this out. Hit like, subscribe. I got to bounce off for this one. Dylan, you hold it down, all right?
Before you go, ABJ,
I'll try my best.
It was 4 or 5 matches.
It was 4 or 5. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that many. I don't follow it that much.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
I'll see you later, AB.
Stay dry, bud.
Listen, now it's the best. Listen, now you get the best. All right, let's get that other that PA guy out of here.
Yeah, pay you to keep dirt. I was joking.
I still have access to his stuff. All right, you better calm down. Daddy's still around. All right.
Hey, yeah. Just go drive her home already. All right. My goodness. We're trying to do a show over here. But no, I go ahead. I know you were talking, so Raz, go ahead.
Yeah, so we had the Joe backstage segment. Then we get the Undisputed Kingdoms video package. And then we go to the Joe versus Wardlow match. What did we think of the backstage interview, the video package, and the match itself?
I'll let you go, Steven.
I'm really surprised how it ended with Wardlow tapping out.
He didn't.
Choked
out.
Yeah,
he got choked out.
Yeah.
Steve Henry says Joe has definitely been treated as a traditional champion.
No, for sure. The promo was cool. The cinema was cool. Kind of threw me. I didn't know it was Adam Cole behind the book until he kind of lowered. And then I was like, oh, that's Adam Cole. Okay. I actually thought Adam Cole was going to say, I'm cleared or something. I didn't expect it to kind of lead into the Samoa Joe match. I know that I was up next after the Mercedes thing because you saw the little graphic.
Is Cole going to be cleared for Double or Nothing?
Sorry?
Is Cole going to be cleared for Double or Nothing?
No. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
It's all in, most likely.
I think you're going to get at Double or Nothing, you're going to get Joe and Swerve. Is what I think.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that at the end of the show and everything. I want you to be able to do your thing. because me and ABJ had a great conversation about it yesterday. But honestly, I thought the match was good. It was a Joe match. I feel like that's a very solid answer in a sense. It was a Joe match. He came out, conquered, destroyed, left, and that was really it. Wardlow put up a good fight. I think there is a push for Wardlow. Tony's trying to do, but again, they have these big guys. They have these powerhouse heavyweights. Hobbs, Cage, Wardlow, Luchasaurus, and they kind of just barely do much with them.
Yeah.
And when they do something with them, it seems very standoffish. It feels very off-putting. It's like a Meat Madness match, and that's about it, there's not really much. But
that's what the crowd was getting into, the meat side of things, and they were chanting that.
Listen, we all love our meat, you know what I mean? We all love the meat, so.
Yeah, I felt it was definitely a Wardlow Joe match.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't going to be a standout match. I do appreciate that Wardlow avoided the walk-off situation. I liked that because obviously that plays into Joe's seen Wardlow's seen what Joe does with that. So he took that into account and waited for Joe to turn around.
Go ahead.
I thought Joe choking him out was probably the better move to keep the belt on him rather than just a clean pin. Because a clean pin wouldn't have worked. I think me personally, I think it would have been one of the situations where if he got a clean pin, he's pretty much done. Wardlow's pretty much done. At least being choked out, you can build from that.
Right. My thing is this. We have a story that's not finished yet. MJF was injured going into World's End, losing the title because he was multiple injuries full, and they can't have a champion like, Orange Cassidy could do it, but the injuries were very different. Hence why MJF lost and Samoa Joe became our champion. Samoa Joe is a great champion. Samoa Joe is a great wrestler. Samoa Joe is a face of a company type of person. And I definitely stand by that statement. Was I salty? Yeah, but that's because I'm me. I'm me. But all in all, great choice. With Wardlow and Undisputed Kingdom and all of that, if Wardlow gets kicked from the Undisputed Kingdom, it's because they look at him as a liability and not as an asset. The Kingdom is an asset. Roddy Strong is an asset. Cole is an asset. Wardlow's a bodyguard. They don't need a bodyguard because they have 4 amazing wrestlers.
Yeah, they have 4 talent that can actually put on quality matches and can put on a show.
Exactly. And because of that,
invested in a story out of something that is not even relevant to what they're doing at the time.
Exactly. And that's my next point, is the fact that there is more story potential with those 4 that there is than with someone like Wardlow. But Wardlow, to counteract that, can still have a very good story by being the guy, the scapegoat, quoting Jack Perry here, the scapegoat of AEW again, and having the sensibility to be the inside man to the Undisputed Kingdom. With MJF coming around down the road and making a statement. Him and Wardlow were part of the Pinnacle. Him and Wardlow have had a feud that is still never really ending. The last time Wardlow and MJF were in the ring, MJF just took powerbomb after powerbomb after powerbomb, and it was a song that I didn't want to keep playing.
About 10 power bombs.
Yeah, like just unbelievable. He took it like a champ. But again, Wardlow could be that inside guy. Kyle O'Reilly kind of plays into this mix as well, because Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy Strong and Adam Cole are very good friends. Very good friends. So there is a way that MJF could infiltrate the Undisputed Kingdom by having his 4 versus the Undisputed Kingdom. Do I think this goes into like a blood and guts thing? No. But I think that this is the perfect way to get our Cole MJF story that we're waiting for. The mole being Wardlow, the adversary being, of course, O'Reilly, and the killer, in a sense, in the story being MJF. Because not only does he have to put the final nail in the coffin of him and Wardlow's story, but he has to shut the coffin on Cole once and for all. Yeah. And I feel like now this is that starting point, possibly going forward.
If it was to lead to a blood and guts, you can't have Wardlow and MJF on the same team because of that story that's in there with them, because of the way things went with them. I don't feel you could have them working together as a team. You could have them as a team, but not in a blood and guts scenario.
Correct.
Because blood and guts is more about you have such a strong bond with your team that you hate the other team that you're going up against. So
exactly.
It makes more sense that way. But Wardlow and MJF being on the same team in that wouldn't make sense.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens. My thing is, do they just keep him in the Undisputed Kingdom as a lackey, as a jobber, in a sense? And that kind of hinders the story a little bit, but we'll see. But again, for the match, average Joe match with Wardlow, nothing too special, nothing spectacular. But I do agree with you, Raz, about having him be knocked out compared to tapping out is a little bit better, only because if Wardlow tapped, it's not a good look for what the Undisputed Kingdom is trying to do. Being choked out is one thing. People, it's happened to everybody. But having a tap out shows you're truly a quitter and you're not all that you say that you are. So
and it takes the Undisputed Kingdom and puts them as, well, these guys just sent their weakest guy out. Why should we care?
Right.
Why should we give a shit? Yet he's supposed to be the enforcer of the group.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he ain't enforcing shit.
Yeah. So. Next up, we had Swerve come out from backstage at the end of the match, take out the security. He has the chain with him. Great way to end that, I think, was with those two. I like that we're still getting a continuation of Swerve and Joe. I'm keen to see it. I think when they do pull the trigger, it is going to be Swerve that pulls the belt off of Joe.
Right.
I think that the Cole MJF situation doesn't need the belt to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So I think allowing Swerve to be the champion could work here. You could have that as him as your main champion, and you can then still run that MJF Cole situation further along, because there is no need for the title. Mm-hmm. It's like when people look at WWE and they go, Rock versus Roman doesn't need a title, which is true. There's a story built into it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, there's no title needed for this one.
Yeah.
I think that at this stage, it's just we're getting really good storytelling in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
Adding a title doesn't really do much, but it doesn't even make it interesting, to be very frank.
What are your thoughts, Steven?
What about Swerve? Yeah. Like I said, you think Swerve will do the title by Double or Nothing? You all think Joe's going to retain?
I think we get a match at Dynasty with them.
Oh, Dynasty? Okay.
But I also think that match goes to either a no contest or it goes to something screwy happening, and then we get a rematch at Double or Nothing, which ends in like a similar fashion to the way bloody Hangman and Swerve went down.
Yeah, I could see Swerve. See, that's my thing, is that I see Swerve winning a Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any earlier than that, only because of the fact that Joe hasn't beaten Swerve.
Correct.
If they do it a Dynasty, having them end on a no contest or a time limit draw, only gives us that Double or Nothing moment that we've been waiting for. But the real question, I feel that not many people are talking about, and I have to give credit where credit is due, and ABJ really brought this up when we were having our conversation yesterday. Is it too much of a short reign for someone like Swerve to lose it at Wembley? Because that big pop that everybody wants to also see is Ospreay at All In versus Swerve, but Swerve losing to Ospreay. And it's a 4-month span. I think it's more than enough.
I think it's a long enough run, but I also understand where ABJ is coming from saying it would be too short. I also think that Ospreay is probably not going to get a world title run this year. I don't think he will get a world title run. Do I think he will main event Wembley? Yes. But I think it will be him versus either a returning Kenny Omega or him versus another really big name.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind. Thinking out of New Japan, Zack Sabre Jr.
Could be interesting.
I wouldn't mind a rematch between Takeshita and Ospreay at All In.
I could see that, but I wouldn't. I don't think.
I feel like that's more Double or Nothing though too.
Yeah, I don't think it would go over as well in London as it would in like somewhere like Double or Nothing. Yeah. Alex says, I see Dynasty at the time limit draw with Swerve almost pinning Joe for Swerve to make a case that, and then they face off again at Double or Nothing with Swerve finally winning the title. And then in the way Hangman and Hangman and Omega had their match, where it was the crowning of the new champion. Like the Bucks gave Hangman the go-ahead to pin Kenny, sort of thing.
Yeah,
when he won the title. I think that Ospreay has a lot to build to this year. I mean, we're already getting him versus Danielson.
Yeah.
So
that's a big night.
That's going to be a fucking huge match. Like that's going to be the best match of the night. No doubt.
Do you think it beats the Takeshita match that he just had?
Could be.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's hard because that Takeshita match was, I mean, that was masterclass. That was Ospreay and Omega level wrestling.
Yeah.
Like truly masterclass wrestling.
Yeah. Alex says he sees Danielson losing that match.
I do too.
And I agree. I agree. I actually see Danielson putting Ospreay over.
Yes.
And that 100%. Leads to Ospreay building his stature up even further to go for the title, not this year, or if he does go for it this year, he goes for it at World's End.
And build Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness at All In.
I think that's what's going to definitely take place at All In. You're going to get Nigel McGuinness versus Danielson, and it's going to be the last time that it's going to be one of the last times that Danielson wrestles.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. See, Henry, yes, they are still doing All In and All Out a week apart. The way he wants to keep it, Tony Khan has said he wants to keep it, is that he does it on the what they call the bank holiday in the UK. So he wants to do bank holiday weekend in the
Labor
UK,
Day.
and then he wants to do Labor Day weekend in the US. So he wants to keep it as
He doesn't care about our wallets. That's what I'm hearing.
No, no, he doesn't.
I'm hearing. I want to make America and London broke for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. You guys
Yeah,
all
Not
gonna
only
have
that, though,
street
the
corner.
Jacksonville Jaguars start their season closer to Labor Day too. So
Yeah, we're just gonna be broke for going into Christmas.
Yeah.
Alex says because Moxley and Danielson are like gatekeepers for higher matches and title shots.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yes, absolutely.
I see a Ospreay Moxley feud again because we never got the payoff with those two in Japan.
Yeah,
Like
it's
we
okay
got
if we don't.
we got David Finlay walking out with the fucking title. So,
Yeah,
last year was
now Nick Nemeth got it.
yep.
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Kai, you come up with the weirdest shit. You come in with the weirdest shit about Japanese wrestling.
Kai over here, Dylan. He's a big Stardom fan.
That's awesome. I'm happy to
He's
hear
a
that.
Huge Stardom fan
Yeah,
in New
Kai
Japan.
loves Stardom. Where the hell were we? Okay,
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe match. After Samoa Joe match.
we next had the video interview with the Elite. I thought this was really well done. I appreciate that they didn't get Okada doing a full interview and that the Bucks interrupted. So playing on the he doesn't really speak too much English factor, but we all know that Okada can speak English quite well. What do you guys think?
Try to get him to saying happy birthday to Nicholas, the interviewer.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Yep.
Yeah, cool segment. Nothing to really write home about. Led into the match itself, so didn't really have much to see here.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, he actually met the Stardom president prior to the show doing before the show tonight. Which is funny because Mercedes was Stardom and Forbidden Door is coming to the greatest island of all islands, Long Island, New York. So I mean,
Kai is pissed off because Kai does not like the situation that went down with Stardom, so which is understandable. Next up, we had the Elite versus Pentapack and Kingston. What did we think of this match, and did we like the way that they focused on Kingston here? No.
That was okay.
Man, Kingston's gonna lose his title. I'm sorry. I'm a big Kingston fan. I'm sorry. I just disappointed.
I'll be honest, as a fellow New Yorker, this is a terrible run for Kingston. I thought there was going to be a lot more.
However, in saying that, you have to look at who he is defending this title against, and who he's going against.
Well, his first opponent was Trent Beretta.
Yep.
His second one was Danielson.
Yep.
And now it's going to be Okada.
Yep.
Which I get the three. I do. I get the three.
Yep.
But where's the story that leads to it? Okada, honestly, is the only one that has had, and some of Danielson, that has had an actual build-ish around these three belts. more
Yeah.
honestly with Okada than Danielson. Danielson was more of a respect thing. You know, he had to fight Moxley to get the respect to get those belts. Now he's fighting Danielson to get the respect to keeping those belts. Now he's proving to Okada he deserves these belts. And now, honestly, I don't want him to keep those belts after Okada, because after Okada, where is next? With Dynasty around the corner, what is next for these belts?
How would you guys feel about Okada versus Ospreay for those Continental Classic titles?
I think we had to.
Go ahead.
That was a lot of the story in Japan the past few years. So I see keeping Okada and Ospreay away from each other for a little while. I think if anything, what we're going to get is Okada walks out with the belt, beating Kingston, and I see potentially Jay White coming to challenge for that belt because it never got settled between Jay White and Okada.
Tell you the truth, guys, I really believe we might get a no contest next week and might get the match at Dynasty. Okada and then Kingston.
Well, then why do we even bother wasting the time now when we could be just having Okada wrestle anybody?
Yeah. I think that it's one way to keep Okada going back to Japan if he wants to. Okada's got a built-in feud with Naito if he wants to go back.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. There's a built-in feud there. Naito's turned around and said that he wants to make Okada jealous and feel bad for leaving New Japan. So
it's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. I have not, unfortunately. Every time I've been, every time they've been here, they sold out.
It's on my bucket list to go to Wrestle Kingdom.
That is definitely on my bucket list too. I want to get to Wrestle Kingdom. As much as I hate to say it, WrestleMania is on my bucket list as well.
I'm waiting when they come to close by to Nashville.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm coming to as well. I am coming to the Nashville one.
I live 3 hour drive, 3 hours away.
Are you driving though, instead of flying?
Fuck yeah, I am driving. Byron today was trying to get me to Cleveland. He's like, "Oh, we'll take a plane." I'm like, "I'm driving the 19 hours."
Take a Greyhound bus or Amtrak train.
Well, to Cleveland for SummerSlam is only 9 hours.
Okay,
which is a very short trip.
Yeah,
that's not that bad. That's 9 hours. We stay one day before the show. We leave the next day, type of thing.
Yeah,
you know, we leave Sunday.
And if you've got two drivers, you can share the driving. So
I don't even mind driving both ways, back and forth. Honestly, I like the drive. Yeah. I'm never flying again. I mean, I might have to for like Nashville or
to go to Japan.
Well, that one I'm taking a boat. I will not fly that long. My limit amount of plane ride I only do is like 6 hours or less. That's it. Up in the air. I will not go any longer than that. So
yeah, fair.
Sorry, London, I will never come because I am totally out. Well, I'll go by boat, but I won't go by plane.
So. How long is the drive from you to Nashville? About 12 hours at least.
No, it's like almost a day. Yeah, it's like 20. It's about a day. So that's why I'll fly to Nashville because it's only like a 4-hour flight.
Yeah,
4.5, 5-hour flight, which is nothing. I leave at like at 8 a.m. I come by 1, have the whole day, and then the next day the show, and then I go back the next day.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
over here, the shortest flight for me would be about 45 minutes, and that's from here in Melbourne to Adelaide, South Australia. So that's probably the shortest flight. Longest flight would probably be to WA, and I think that's 3.5, 4 hours.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. If you drive it though, it's fucking almost 3 days.
About 20 miles from the airport, so
yeah, I'm only like 30-ish minutes from one airport, so but an hour from another one. So it sucks, but we'll see.
Alex says, I will say I guarantee that one of Ospreay's next 5 rivalries will be Claudio.
It has to be.
Because
it
he
has
just
to
sees
be.
Ospreay running down the BCC to get to Moxley. And
that would be so good.
Imagine
him versus Yuta, Claudio. Oh my god.
Yeah, him and Claudio would put on a clinic. They would put on a clinic. I think it could possibly be better than him versus Danielson.
Yeah.
Well, if we see Sheamus in AEW bringing back the bar,
please God, no.
I think if Sheamus comes in, keep him away from that situation.
Put him in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, chuck him in Ring of Honor. Keep him over there rather than in AEW, because AEW. I love the company. I love the company, but stop bringing in all these big name talents from outside the company and focus on the big guys that you have, because that's how you started. That's how you were building your name. People wanted to see the new and up and coming talents. They wanted to see who was going to be the new name in the industry that they could have and follow. And yes, okay, having people like Kenny, having Jericho as your first world champion was a smart move. Bringing in Ospreay and bringing those sort of guys in is fine because they've got international appeal, but they don't have necessarily the strength of bringing eyes on the product from inside America.
Correct.
And this is what I tried to explain to ABJ. And that was that, unfortunately, with Americans, and this is nothing against you guys.
I'm taking it offensively.
A lot of Americans don't bother with Japanese wrestling or any wrestling outside of America.
Correct.
And they don't understand how wrestling works outside of America. They look at it as you've been fed storylines by WWE and you've been given a standard by WWE for 50 fucking years, when you've got New Japan sitting over here for 50 fucking years, just giving you matches and telling stories through their matches. Telling stories through the matches. Whereas WWE has been convoluted storyline leading to a match that leads to an even further convoluted storyline to a big payoff match.
Yeah.
Whereas New Japan, you can have your top guy in a multi-tag team match at the opening of the fucking show, and you can have a new young lion headlining the show.
We have a word for those type of fans here in America. We call them casuals. And it's a fact. And I agree, because like you said, like New Japan has been doing this thing for a long time. And sometimes the no stories outside of the ring and the stories being told inside the ring are better. It's true. Like if you look at any of the history that New Japan has given us throughout its 50 years and some, you will see more stories being told and beautifully spread throughout reigns for years to come. And with as many storylines and writers and bookers and managers that WWE could get their hands on and enhance talent and whatnot, it will never come close to having both sides of the coin equally done. No matter how hard they try to, they will always be missing that one key element. And it's not saying that the performers there were bad. That's not saying that, the talent can't be enhanced that way. It's just the way WWE is, the way the WWE is booked, the way that WWE is marketed to that next generation of fans is by what is being told verbally in and out of the ring and on the television screen. It isn't what's being told in the ring. And it works. It works. I mean, for Christ's sake, look at them, 50 years strong and running. So they're doing something right.
But then again, Japan's been doing something right for 50 years as well.
Exactly.
And they've had slumps in their company history.
Yeah.
They've had periods where the company has been the shittiest of attendances, and people have been like, why the fuck are we watching this shit?
Right.
Like, we had plenty of that with WWE when AEW wasn't around. It was like, why are we watching this shit? But then WrestleMania comes around and they treat us like, here's Christmas for you. Here's all your good presents. You get your good presents. And the next night it's like, fuck you, we're back to normal.
Right.
Yeah. And I just want to bring up C. Henry's comment of, do you think it's the crowd reactions? No. I think that a lot of Americans can't get invested in New Japan because with what WWE has done, and I'm even going to use WCW on this, with what WCW did back in the day, was invest in stories rather than tell the story in the ring and let the story build from what's happening in the ring. That's my thoughts.
No, I agree with that statement. And it, there is an argument for crowd reactions that makes what's happening in and out of the ring more easier for a new fan to digest as well. They hear everyone chanting, they hear everyone screaming and yelling, they're going to be more receptive to it. If they hear them saying, oh, they suck, this is trash, this is ass, whatever, they're going to be more receptive to saying the same as well. And, there's an argument there for that. But I mean, generally speaking, no, not always does the crowd's reaction really control the narrative of what's being done.
Yeah. You want a good story from New Japan, go watch Okada versus Jay White for the IWGP title.
Yeah, and
just watch the story that is told through Jay White's facial expressions in that match, and how he almost breaks down because he can't get it done. He can't put the nail in the coffin. And there's been that little hints of story, but it's been what's in the ring at the end of the day, that can he get it done in the ring?
Right.
And that's where New Japan has that solid down the line. Their stories in the ring outweigh the stories that are being told on a weekly or monthly basis.
Correct.
Because once again, New Japan doesn't have shows that are every single week. They're not like it's not like American wrestling. There's not weekly shows. There's not shows every single month. They'll have a couple right at the start of the month, and then you'll take a week or two off, and then you'll have another couple towards the end of the month. And then you might have 2 months in between shows.
Right.
Like, it's one thing I think New Japan did really, really well is Wrestle Kingdom is the blow-off, or was designed to be the blow-off of everything that's happened over the year. You'll see shit happen at Dominion. You'll see shit happen at New Year Dash. You'll see stuff happen in the G1. But the biggest show, Wrestle Kingdom. And that's where you get the payoff. You get the world championship. You get all titles put on the line, whether they've been defended last week or 6 months ago. All titles will be on the line. You will see every single title put on the line. And you get a story, you get a blow-off from generally a blow-off from every single feud for that year pays off at the Wrestle Kingdom of next year.
Yep.
Kai says, see, Stardom has been a mix of the two. They have those weekly shows to aid the story, but its primary focus is the in-ring story with added week-to-week shows just to make the stories hit so much harder. Yeah, sometimes you get one title that's defended twice on a show.
Yeah.
But if you really want a quality storytelling in the ring, go to Wrestle Kingdom, go to the New Japan website, or look on you. You probably won't find it on YouTube because I believe they've Bushiroad has screwed themselves over with a copyright strike on that. They copyright strike their own content on their own page.
That's something you don't see every day.
Yeah. WrestleMania has copied Wrestle Kingdom with the two-night event. Yes, because New Japan were the first to do it.
That's what I thought they were.
But it's not a major thing. They prefer to keep it as a one-night thing. But New Japan definitely was the first to do it, and then WWE copied because of it. The first was Okada versus Takagi, then it was Okada versus Ospreay. Yeah, that was the first two-night show. It's almost like when a major corporation takes over a wrestling promotion, things go wrong. This is all coming from us talking about the Elite.
Yes. So thank you, Okada. Thank you, Okada, singing "Happy Birthday."
The Nicholas.
The match happened.
I have to say, for this section of AEW, I think what they've done here was brilliant. You've had Dynamite opening with Mercedes. You've had the Samoa Joe package, Samoa Joe interview, the Undisputed Kingdom package, the match with Wardlow and Joe, and then you've had a video with the Elite, and then you've had the Elite versus Penta, Pac, and Kingston. I think it's really, really well done because they haven't just gone video package and here's a random match. Like here's Orange Cassidy versus I don't know, Toby Keith. Like it's flowed across the show. Like it's kept a flow to it. What do you guys think?
There's definitely been a flow of the actual show itself. I would say that there's probably not really a slow part.
Yeah.
In all honesty, maybe the match itself between the Elite and Eddie, if anything. Darby, the matches that followed after that, of course, definitely continued the pace, and then the ending of the show itself that I know you'll get to. But if I had to pick a slow part, that would probably be that. There's just some moments throughout that 6-man tag that it seemed to carry on.
They could have been done a lot quicker and a lot better for what they were. I'll definitely agree with that.
It's part of it. I think they're more careful with Pac, especially with him returning, I guess. That's part of it.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Next was the Christian Cage Adam Copeland video for the match next week on Dynamite in Toronto. Then we had Ospreay doing his interview, getting a bruv chant. That was bound to happen. Ospreay is so far fucking over. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is going to be the biggest in the company. Like,
I think he's going to be the face of AEW, to be honest with you.
You can't keep him away. Like, you can't keep him in the Don Callis family because he's just too far fucking over.
Yeah.
And you get him reuniting under the United Empire, and it's just going to be fucking amazing. He doesn't need a group, but it works.
No, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah. Have Aussie Open. Yeah, bring once old mate can get back from his injury.
Yeah, old Mark Davis.
Yeah, it was funny though, Stephen, how you said that a certain guy was not available, and then the next week he's on the fucking show.
Yep,
like because he was having visa issues.
Yeah.
Does AEW plan to do any more shows in the UK? I don't believe at this stage they are. I believe that they're working with Progress and Defy over there to allow some of the talent to work shows if they want to.
Yeah, because that Nick Wayne wrestled last year over there.
Yeah, they don't have to, but they allow them to have some of the talent appear there.
Yeah.
As you said, Nick Wayne was wrestling there last year, so
I think over at Defy, I think it was, wasn't it? Defy card.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to the day that they announce an Australian show. Because then
you got TNA coming up.
Yeah, then I can save money and go to AEW over here rather than fly to another fucking country for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. After that, we had after the Ospreay interview, I got to say, I was expecting Ospreay to say, "I'm Will fucking Ospreay," but he just said, "I'm Will Ospreay." I was a bit disappointed, but he got away without swearing. So
being too nice.
I get that he has to do it for TV. He has to keep it PG, like somewhat PG. So that will never happen, Kai. He owns the fucking company. I think what should happen is he should take a head role as the owner and let someone step in to run the shows. I think that's what needs to happen, and I think it should be Scott D'Amore.
There you go.
That's my hot take for the day.
Oh, no. I second that hot take.
Oh.
For sure.
Okay.
Like, you could have easily done it with William Regal, but obviously Regal wanted to go back to WWE because of his son.
All Japan.
Yeah.
And everything representing NXT. So,
yeah.
It makes sense.
Completely understandable wanting to go work with family. That's completely understandable. I think if you want an on-screen authority sort of role without having to put Scott D'Amore on TV, Steve Borden. Make Sting the on-screen authority.
If he wants it, because he said on the media. Sorry. Go ahead, Raz.
He doesn't need to wrestle. He can be an on-screen character and be an on-screen authority character.
He did say at the media scrum, though, he just want to be an agent or a manager. So,
hell, make him an agent. Or if you make him an on-screen authority, and you've got Scott D'Amore backstage running the show, it's going to run smoothly and things are going to look fucking fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan's wheeled away.
Sorry, dog's crying. We're not in bed yet and going to bed.
Oh.
So
All good, my friend.
trying
All
to
good.
tell her to relax.
Can Will Ospreay be the first UK talent to hold a world title in a major promotion?
She's tired.
Yeah,
why not? I don't see why there would be a disconnect. And that's the thing with AEW. AEW gives you that freedom to have a contract with AEW, but still be able to go across the seas or go anywhere in the States and work any type of show, any type of indie promotion, any type of anything, and not feel like you are disrespecting the company, feel like you're making the company look bad, making the company whatever. AEW has that advantage. AEW has that advantage that allows people like Okada, who, if he wants to go to New Japan for 2 months, 3 months, and do some stuff over there, he can. And Tony's not only going to be like, hell yeah, it's AEW's going to be over there. That's awesome. It's not Okada New Japan. It's Okada New Japan AEW style now. And that's exciting. Because it is whatever eyes that maybe don't want to watch him over here in the States, which is a wild statement, but also can see him working in both sets. So that way they don't feel like Okada's just clearly here and that's that. So I think that, in all honesty, it's actually a bigger possibility for someone like Ospreay to do that and go across and anywhere to represent AEW, title, no title.
Kai is right in this regard.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre has that. However, if you don't count Scotland as a part of UK and you're talking about England, then it would be Ospreay. It would have to be the main champion.
We could also see Ospreay somewhere else, like closer to his actual residence in the UK, being a pay-per-view.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That is a possibility. Like Wembley's huge to fit 70,000 people. But if they wanted to do something really special for Ospreay and be like, hey, we're going to go to your home state of the UK and you're going to be the main event. Awesome. So that 20,000, 30,000 stadium now is going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It's going to be instant. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's as much as WWE tried with having Elimination Chamber here in Australia, wasn't Rhea's hometown.
Right. She's state's over.
Rhea's hometown. It was.
She's town's over.
Yeah. It was literally a completely different state. And they didn't sell the arena out. They didn't sell out. Yes, they had a strong showing, but they didn't have a sellout.
Yeah.
But in saying that, price of tickets were fucking ridiculous when they
I
first
saw them.
went.
The lowest I saw was $675. I was like $675. That's wild. The wild statement. The wild statement.
The lowest it got down to, I believe, was $50 Australian.
That's not that bad.
But for ringside and the first 10 rows at least, you were looking at between $3.5 to $7,000 Australian. So that's a big wad of fucking cash.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking wad of cash, especially to attend a wrestling event. Right? WrestleMania, understandable if you're paying for the full experience and you're getting 2 nights worth of WrestleMania and you're paying that much. Completely understandable.
Did you see how much money the bank is?
No, I didn't.
Travel packages for a ringside seat, 2-night hotel, meet and greet with Trish, at least $10,000 a ticket. person.
See, I could understand that because you're getting a meet and greet with a star, you're getting a hotel room,
and
you're getting a ringside seat.
Yep.
So I can completely understand where they're making their money on that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, though, is in Australia for a one-off event, pretty much $7,000 for one seat is not fucking worth it. Unless you're doing like a whole fucking week's worth of events there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like trying to go to WrestleMania and get the all expense package when it was just a one night event and you were only going for the one night and paying $10,000 for that. That would just be fucking stupid.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Getting back to the show, we next had the Deanna interview. So that's not finished. Deanna and Tony Storm. Apparently, Deanna's going to have a tag team partner. No idea who the fuck it's going to be. We then go to Jay White versus Darby Allin. Much for muchness with this match. Darby misses the coffin drop on Jay on the apron.
He starts on Darby. Jeez.
Does his miraculous getting back in the ring at the 9-second mark. I do like that Jay hit the Blade Runner straight away and then pinned him to win the match. I kind of saw this part coming, though, that the Bullet Club were going to attack Darby. I really appreciated that because this is what Jay White needs. He needs to be the Bullet Club leader and do that. Acclaimed came out for the save. Jay attacks Daddy Ass with a chair and then attacks the Acclaimed.
Half off on all Bang Bang Scissor Gang t-shirts.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm calling out your comment on ABJ's stream here, Steven. Do you think we're getting a unification of the titles?
I think we will.
Of the Ring of Honor and the
Yeah.
trios?
Unification of the trios titles. Yep.
Well, my question to you then is, where does that leave the Ring of Honor tag team division if you unify them?
They don't really
Are you going to be sending? Would you be sending the AEW trios tag team titles and the tag teams down to Ring of Honor to face other trios tag teams, or are you going to now start making trio tag teams in Ring of Honor to actually have a trios tag team division that's on both Ring of Honor and AEW?
Well, it ain't no different than Kingston's got the Ring of Honor heavyweight title.
Well, no, but yes. See, like the Ring of Honor title also has the New Japan title and it has the AEW title. So there's three titles for three different promotions. Now, Kingston's only, for now, wrestled on AEW soil. He hasn't gone over to New Japan yet, which I'm assuming...
No, he did.
For the Continental Championship, though?
Not for the Continental... good question.
If someone wants to answer that.
It's been about a month or two since he wrestled in a Ring of Honor match.
Right. But then again, did he defend the Continental Championship in that? Because if he is going around to all these other promotions defending the title, then it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Which means then you're going to have to do the same thing for someone like the new unified tag team titles. But Ring of Honor doesn't really have, and I could be mistaken, trios tag teams in that promotion. They have tag teams.
I think you got two teams.
They've only have two teams.
About 2 or 3 teams.
2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah. They have the Righteous And probably Lance Archer. It's one in the Dark Order.
So the Dark Order, the Righteous.
In the Lance Archer, they've been teaming up.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
he's been in Japan, but I don't think he's defended it in Japan.
Gates of Agony or Muggle Embassy probably is another team.
Right, Brian Cage and the Mogul Embassy. So that's your
Yeah.
second team. And then the
Castle
Righteous
and the
with
Boys.
yeah, and then you had the Best Friends,
Yeah.
And you've got the
Acclaimed, the Bang
Acclaimed.
Bang
Yep.
Gang.
Yep.
So that's 5, which is good, but that's Private Party. Is there a third member? No,
No.
How about Undisputed Kingdom?
that's 2, not 3.
Yeah.
Well, if we get Wardlow in it, maybe, I don't know. But
Well,
But,
yeah, exactly. If they do something with Wardlow and add him into the
Yeah.
mix,
Um,
right? Which then also sets up my next question to you: is then what do we do with the Kingdom's titles? Because they're the Ring of
The
Honor
tag
tag
team,
team
yeah.
titles.
yeah,
They're the holders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do they have to be now? Do they have to find a third body just to have this happen? See, like I feel like to your point, there's a way of doing it to where if there was one set of titles that could be defended on both Ring of Honor and AEW, and it's not just for 2, a title for 2 and a title for
Yeah.
3. If we cut one of those titles completely out and had one unified belt that unifies AEW and Ring of Honor, absolutely, this makes sense, because then you can have great talent coming up in the tag team division from Ring of Honor coming up into AEW, like we just had with I can't remember the 2 gentlemen's names that were just on. I think it was last week. Well, they looked at FTR when after the Sting match.
The Infantry.
The Infantry. They've been making a big statement in Ring of Honor, from what I've been told, and they are exciting to see. FTR. Well, FTR is FTR. And everyone knows how I feel about BCC, which doesn't mock me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the Acclaim with Bowens and Matt Caster, the Kingdom, the Righteous, you have Best Friends that could be trios or duels. That all can play into a good mixture here. Then you have closely like 8 to 9 division title holders that can be very exciting to mess around with and see on other promotions.
Mm-hmm.
For me, with the way New Japan has their trios titles, it's because most wrestlers in Japan are in a faction.
Correct.
So you can have multiple members defending a set of belts.
Correct.
Like you could, for example, if we were the champions, and ABJ, we could sub in ABJ for one of us when we're not here, and that sort of thing. It works there because you've got different factions and you can have different people subbing out. When it's just like tag teams or small factions with only 4 members, it looks very difficult for them to just sub someone out and then bring the other person in, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. You get what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is we also have the AEW tag team belts too.
Exactly.
We have 3 belts that we have to figure out what in God's name we're going to be doing with them.
I'm
Even with the tournament coming up.
Yeah.
I
The
think
tournament is supposed to start on Saturday.
Right. I thought they would starting in big business as well.
Or
No,
they
it's
get some kind of announcement or something, something.
It
Nothing.
starts
And we
on
got
Collision.
nothing.
It's supposed to start on Collision.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's supposed to start on Collision. The tournament is supposed to start this Saturday, but we've got no word of. We've got no announcement, which brings me to one of my next points, and that was this shitty ass match of Jericho and Hook versus the Gates of Agony.
I'm happy you said that.
Well,
I'm happy
was-
you said that.
I,
We also
I didn't
have
see the
Jericho
match
and Hook.
personally. I have to take my dog outside, so it's probably a good thing that I didn't watch the match.
Correct. It was a very good thing. Just like when I skip certain matches for certain people, it was a good thing. I didn't miss
Look,
much.
back when AEW started, I was happy that Jericho was there to be the big name guy. Over the past year, I've begun to see him more as the not going away Hulk Hogan style. Or if he does go away, he's gone for 5 minutes only to throw himself back into something that, oh, Jericho's here. We need Jericho, or Jericho needs to be involved. As I said in ABJ's chat, I think the reason we didn't get an announcement for this tag team tournament is because Jericho needed to make sure that his name was in the ballot for this fucking tournament. So he's got a tag team partner in Hook. And
Thank God, no more Judas on.
I thought the fucking match was horrible. I think that Jericho just needs to go away for a while and stay away for a while. Let people miss him. Let people miss him and let the company build the younger stars without him.
Have Jericho do another cruise.
Please. Please do another
Go-
cruise.
Go on an international Fozzy tour. Just stay away from AEW for a little bit. Give
Give
people
us
a
like 2
reason
years
to
of
miss
no
you.
Jericho.
Sorry?
Give us 2 years of no Jericho.
Look, I'm a big Jericho fan, but his run right now, what he's doing right now, it's just down in the pits now, man. Just not digging it.
He's
I'm
not as
pissed he's
young as
sitting
he
down
used to be.
listening to Jericho. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
He's not as young as he used to be. He's not as quality. His matches are nowhere near as quality as he used to be. He gets gassed fucking easily. I understand
Like The Rock.
his age. Like his age doesn't help him. I'm not doubting that the dude has worked his fucking ass off over the years, and that's not me saying the guy doesn't deserve respect. I'm just saying, please take some time away. Let us miss you. Let us wait for that moment of, holy shit, it's Chris Jericho again.
When I don't know about you guys, and I might be dating myself here, but that SpongeBob episode where Squidward is doing the show at the Krusty Krab, and the one fish in the background goes, "Oh brother, this guy stinks." I feel like every time I see Jericho come out, I just want to say that and be that guy that just is like, "Oh brother, this guy stinks so bad." And like, I like Jericho too. I do.
Yeah.
I liked him in WWF, WWE. I watched his old stuff from WCW, some of his stuff in New Japan.
Yep.
Great guy, talented. Don't get me wrong. I mean, was the very first double champion. Like,
Yep.
there was a reason why they did that for him, because he's that fucking good. But yeah, age catches up to you, and if you beat your body up for 30 years, 40 years, and doing music and touring and a cruise, it's like, dude, you're doing a lot of stuff to where, like, you might want to just be like, you know what? Let me focus on the music for like a year. Let me do some more Hallmark movies. Let me do a cruise again in the summer. Like, let me just not take a buckle bomb like for a year. And I think I can bounce back.
Last you need is him not to pass out,
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Sting fan, as you may already know. Like, I'm a big Sting fan.
Yeah.
I felt towards the end of this, he should have hung it up last year.
Right.
Like, I felt towards the end of his run, he should have hung it up last year. Was I sad to see him go? Yes, because
we all cried.
It's one of those moments of, it's a guy I've seen growing up, and I've watched him growing up, and you don't want to ever see your heroes grow old, as they say. You don't want to see your heroes grow old. You want to remember them as they were in their heyday.
Yeah.
Yeah, truth. I didn't really want to see him in AEW though. I thought,
Like, I was happy when he showed up in AEW, but I don't think he needed to be working as much as he did in matches. I think there was points where Sting didn't need to be in matches. They could have easily left him out of it, but I also understand why they did have him in the matches as well.
Yeah.
hey, I'm a big Sting fan. Don't get me wrong, but I was worried about his health and age and all that, especially doing all these risks while he's doing AEW with the ladder and the tables and taking stupid risks.
Don't get me wrong.
Gotta be Darby Allin.
He took some fucking stupid risks.
Darby Senior.
And I was like,
Darby
holy
Senior.
shit. I was like, holy shit, a 60-plus-year-old man doing this shit is fucking insane. And I was like, why is this guy doing this? He doesn't need to prove anything.
Yep.
That was my opinion. But in saying that, it gave us some holy shit moments of why the fuck did he do this and knock himself out on a fucking
The man's
table.
dead. The man's dead.
You're not wrong.
My God, he's dead. He's broken in half.
Every time, I tell you this right now, every time JR called one of his matches and he was like, well, I think he's dead now. I was like, yeah, no, he is. No, he definitely is. Yeah. He has to be.
And if he's not dead, he's fucking he's very much
still
on
alive.
life.
He's still kicking. And it's just like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I gotta rewatch see about how JR's reaction to Darby on that glass.
I'm thankful that this year,
go ahead.
I'm thankful that 2024 is the final year of JR's commentary career.
Actually, he's extended his contract for another year.
Yes,
his contract is extended, but this is his last year in commentary.
Yeah.
So he has a contract, just not necessarily on commentary. He may come out to do guest spots, but
he had hip replacement surgery, by the way, too. That's another reason why he wasn't on TV.
I love JR. I remember listening to JR when I was a kid, learning like where first getting into wrestling. Him and
100%.
Lawler and him and Heyman.
They were the voice of our generation.
Well. Yeah.
They were the voice of our generation.
And my God, he's broken in half.
Well,
it's gotta be Kane.
For Steven, it was more. For Steven, it was more superstar Billy Graham and
Graham. You had Graham, you had
Gorilla
Bobby
Monsoon
Green.
And Bobby Heenan and all that.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan was a good announcer. I remember people
Bobby
say that
Heenan
about
was
him.
fantastic.
Gorilla and Bobby are.
Gorilla Monsoon was really good.
Yeah, Gorilla and Bobby.
Yeah, that was a good combo.
That
was a good combo.
And Gorilla and Jesse did pretty good too.
Can I say this now real quick?
Yes.
I know we got off topic again, but you have a Long Islander, and that's the reason I take full fault of this. Jesse Ventura.
Yep.
Didn't know he was a commentator until I was doing a couple of retro watch-alongs with No Bones.
Yep.
By far, the worst commentator I have ever had to sit through.
I mean, did you hear Mike Adamley?
Boring.
Mike Adamley back in the day?
Yeah. I was just like, him and Jim Ross hate each other, and I could tell immediately. And he had that rat tail haircut. Oh, God.
I thought Tony and Jesse in WCW, I thought Tony's going to wring his neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But One of my favorite JR commentary is
C.
he's
Henry,
tougher than a $2
21-year-old.
steak.
Tougher than a $2 steak.
C. Henry said the 21-year-old on the English commentary team for New Japan is pretty good.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
Walker something.
Yeah. Let me have a look. Let's see if I can find it.
But the one he has with him, I'm not digging him because he looks like Harry Potter for one thing, too. I just don't dig him.
Hey, man, wrestling has to have a little magic in there.
I know. But I think it'd be cool if we have a retired wrestler do commentary with Walker instead.
Right. That'd be good. My favorite JR segment from him is how much he hated.
Is it Matt Revolt?
Matt Riddle?
No, Matt Revolt. Is that his name?
No, it's Walker.
No, Walker Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewart. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Walker Stewart. Yeah, he is really good. Him and Ian Riccaboni together are a fucking pair and a half. Riccaboni
The hatred JR had for Triple H during one point was iconic. I mean, he's a low down, no good son of a bitch. And then JR's like, Lola's like, just take it easy, JR. No. This needs to be said. And by God is my witness, I am going to tell the truth. And I'm like, God damn, dude, you hate Hunter so much. So
I love the heat with McMahon.
The McMahon shit. When he had to make him kiss his fucking ass and do the fucking dancing and shit. Oh my God. Terrible.
Sorry, Raz. I'm sorry, buddy. I know we're going on.
No, that's fine. Look, I don't mind. You know that. I really don't mind.
I know.
But... I think we're getting on some good tangents here. So, would you have guys had Vince in the Kiss My Ass Club?
No.
Tell the truth. Would I be part of the Vince Kiss My Ass Club?
No. I think he mean. Like JR did. Yeah. So, would you have joined?
Well, he didn't.
I would put my resignation in 100%.
He didn't have a choice because Regal.
Oh no, I just quit. I would quit. I'd be like, whatever the last paycheck that's coming to me, mail it to me. I'll talk to you later. Good luck with this.
Yeah.
There's no way in God's green earth I would ever humiliated on national television in front of millions of people like that.
It's good, but if you're getting paid a good fucking $50,000,
you could pay me $1 million a week, and I'd still be like, I'm out.
Fair enough.
I'm out. No way.
If you've got morals enough to stand on that conviction, good, dude.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. So
no, actually, I remember what happened. The Undertaker turned heel.
Yes.
And Undertaker punched JR.
Yeah. And forced him to kiss his ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't essentially kissing it. Regal was the only one that actually kissed it.
Yeah. That was so sad. It was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
So sad.
So moving on back onto the show.
Back to the show at hand.
The next segment
moving on from kissing ass.
Sort of. Because we had Kyle O'Reilly backstage interview, where we had Roddy come up and sort of kiss the ass of Kyle O'Reilly, but told him he can also do it on his own. So
it's going to be eventually Wardlow's going to get that boot, and Kyle's going to take his spot.
I'm keen to see Kyle O'Reilly back in action. Hard to believe it's been 2 years. Like, it really only feels like last year that he went out, but it's been 2 years. So
yeah, he's going to have a match on Collision versus the bounty hunter Brian Keith,
which I think is going to be a really good starting point for him. Keith's been really good to work with, very fun, very exciting, and I think this is definitely a good starting point for someone like Kyle O'Reilly, who just came back from a bad injury. Let's get him working good, and I think Keith would be a a perfect candidate. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, I'm waiting for Roddy versus O'Reilly. It's gonna happen. I know it's happening soon. Let's get it going. Let's start building upon this.
Well,
You think it's going to be for the international title?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 100%.
After that, we got the Rio Willow video package, just basically hyping up the night. This was the letdown of the backstage segment with Jericho and Hook. I called this when I first saw it. Jericho and Hook is going to happen at some point, and apparently it's happening on Dynamite next week.
I'll be going to the bathroom during this match.
Then we went to Willow versus Rio, and then Willow wins with the Babe with the powerbomb. Thought this was a solid back and forth match, actually. Like,
man, that pounce, what Willow did to Rio, I thought Rio was going to be completely out of the ring.
Yeah. A lot of people don't put stock in Rio because she is so small. But they're also forgetting she is the first ever AEW Women's Champion.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, and she has worked her ass off to be where she is. So,
yeah,
I mean, I get it. She's small. A lot of things don't look like they should land, and they don't look like they should be as impactful as they look. But yeah. I'm sorry. If you get hit with something, you're still going to fucking, like, move around from it. Like, if someone walks into you along the street, they may not be the biggest person, but you're still going to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know most of you Americans will pull out your gun and fucking shoot them for doing so, but...
Well, you know, some of us, those are called the non-fighters. Yeah. Those are called the non-fighters.
It's core in what part of the U.S., I guess.
Yeah. A lot more southern from where I am, I tell you that now.
Steven, he's giving away your secrets.
Yeah.
Hey, watch it, Long Islander.
Yeah, hey, listen. Yeah.
Dylan's picked a fight with a Philly guy, and
listen, I'm New York till I fucking die. I am New York till I die. I will go to fucking Philly Stadium with Giants gear on and say who wants what. You know what I mean?
Was Rio the girl that wrestled Kenny back in the day?
Maybe.
Rio versus Kenny Omega. Yes.
There's your answer.
Yes.
There's your answer. I'm proud of Willow main eventing a very big show tonight.
Yep.
You know, she was the closer of this Mercedes Moné show. That was what this whole show was truly about. Being in Boston, and of course Mercedes coming out after the Rio Willow fight, which we'll get to, I know, in a little bit. But Willow put on an amazing performance as she's been doing lately. Very excited to see her and Julia finally go at it. I want Willow to be TBS champion because then it just sets up a beautiful thing for her and Mercedes at All In, at Full Gear, wherever.
The problem we have, and ABJ brought this up, is that now your stock in Willow has just dropped, unfortunately, because you've brought in Mercedes and she is your big name in the company. So you had Willow, who's on the independents, has come up through the independents, has made a name for herself, and has been invested in even by Japan, because I know that they had to do it as a last minute thing due to injury, but they trusted her to still take the belt. And now you have Mercedes there to take another spot. and push Willow back as number 2.
I wouldn't agree to that statement at all. I don't think Willow is taking a number 2 spot. I mean, yeah, the name weight alone that Mercedes carries, yes.
Yeah.
But Willow is one of those, I would almost compare her to a Samoa Joe. If you're investing stock in someone like an MJF, who's the face of the company, who could run the company to the top, who could advance the company, ticket sales, all of that great stuff, something happens to MJF and you give it to the next best face of the division and a possible face of the company, Samoa Joe is that guy. Now, Samoa Joe also has a lot of name weight. TNA, Ring of Honor,
Yeah.
WWE, NXT. It's been around the block.
Yeah.
Willow has also been around the block as well.
Yeah.
Fighting in NYWC here on Long Island. She's also wrestled and win. She's wrestled in a lot of big promotions, indie-wise, and has now AEW TV experience.
Yeah. And Ring of Honor pay-per-view experience.
Exactly. And New Japan as well.
Yep.
And if you're willing to give Willow the opportunity and a promotion like a New Japan due to injury, an opportunity to represent your country and represent your promotion in a different country and a different promotion like Willow did by showcasing that New Japan women's belt here at AEW, I think that there's still enough of a appreciation and respect that Tony Khan has for Willow to be the one to maybe not let Mercedes take a big win here. Will she? Yeah, most likely. Most likely Mercedes will win the TBS belt from Willow. Yeah, maybe Willow will have a squash match here or there, but I don't think that the stock of her will drop down to second rate. I don't think the care for Willow will drop down to second rate because Mercedes is around. I think that Willow. Well, go ahead.
In saying that, I didn't mean like her stock would drop in that. I meant that she'll play number 2 because Mercedes is there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think she still will be pushed as a number 1 with the fact that they're giving her a belt and the fact that they're willing to give her a belt that, unfortunately, whether we all want to admit it or not, hasn't had a lot of weight. We've been giving it to multiple people in such a short amount of time. Chris Statlander, Julia Hart, the longest reigning one, of course, being Jade Cargill.
Right. Yeah.
Now possibly Willow, and then it's going to drop over to Mercedes. The list of big name celebrities in wrestling,
the big name matches, you can
have really only been Jade, Statlander, and now Willow. To then Mercedes. What's up?
I just asked Steven what his thoughts were.
Oh,
about Willow, personally, I don't think Willow's going to get the title, guys. I really don't. But I've been saying this from the beginning on Anthony's podcast that I think Statlander is going to turn heel.
Yep.
On Willow, and I think it's going to happen whenever Willow wrestles Julia for the TBS title. And it'll be a good feud for Willow, as far as Statlander go. It'll be a good feud for her.
But what do you see with her and Mercedes, considering it's probably going to be her and Mercedes going forward as well?
What, Willow versus Mercedes?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a good match. It's been since Mercedes got injured.
Yeah.
It'll be a good match. But it would prove Mercedes needs that match. Tell you that, because she got injured. She wants to prove that that she could be her.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it'll be a great match, guys. It will be a great match, though. But I still think Willow's not going to beat Mercedes, though.
Yeah. Obviously, at the end of the night, we got Julia Hart coming out, and Sky Blue attacks Willow. Then Mercedes comes to make the save. That was an obvious thing. One thing I was expecting here with the whole big business thing, I was expecting actually another return. I was expecting Britt Baker to return here and to be standing off against Mercedes.
Yeah.
I could see that happen. I could have saw that happening. I also could have saw Jamie Hayter coming back as well.
I think you save Jamie Hayter for later, and you use her to put Britt Baker and her in a match at All In.
Right.
I believe she has a little setback about Jamie Hayter, I think.
Okay.
So
Not sure. I haven't investigated her lately.
but
That's why the Google machine.
as far as Britt Baker was, you know, I know she's not. Is she injured or is she just off TV completely?
She was. I think she's injured or was injured, and then she was also doing some dentistry work with the fact that she was doing you know, she still is a dentist and everything. So I think it was a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because I saw her, like, I follow her on TikTok, and she had a whole bunch of TikTok videos of her working in the dentist's in her office as a dentist. So I think it was a mixture of both between injury and thing. But we'll see. Like I said, I think that
Don't quote me on that, Raz. I really believe I've seen that, but I'm not for sure, buddy.
The last update of Britt Baker was December 29th, and that she was still injured.
2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
That she's been out with an injury.
That sucks.
She's been around AEW TV, but
Right.
hasn't been on screen, obviously, because I know AEW has a policy where if you're coming back from injury, you have to be at TV tapings for a certain amount of weeks before they will put you back on TV.
Yeah.
Because they want to make sure that you're okay and that you're good with the travel again and stuff like that. And
right. Yeah, it's a lot of traveling too. So
yeah, and they want to make sure that you are okay and good enough to go. Because when Danielson got his injury, he was backstage for a few weeks before they put him back on TV.
Right.
So, but that's essentially the end of the show for Dynamite. What did we think overall? What would we give this as a rating?
I'll give it 6.5.
Okay. What do you say, Dylan?
Out of 10, I'd give it probably an 8.
An 8?
Yeah. Out of 5, I'd give it a 4.
Okay. That's
Above
average.
I'm too biased because of Mercedes. Sorry, Dylan.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen, we all like ABJ said the other night. We all got some hot takes, and you know, I get it. I totally understand.
I ain't the biggest fan of Mercedes, but at the same time, I know she's going to draw eyes on the product.
Yeah,
so, eyes.
Like she's going to bring a lot of eyes onto the product, and I respect that. If we can keep those eyes on the product, fantastic. If people tune in and see her and then stick around for another segment or two, and they begin to appreciate what the show is, they might become fans. And I'm not a fan of her myself, but I also can't complain because she's there. If Charlotte Flair had showed up, there would have been a bigger complaint on my end. Because I fucking hate Charlotte Flair.
Ah, come on. Come on.
Hey, we can't say the C word around Scott and Anastasia.
Look, my
Charlotte Flair?
opinion about Charlotte Flair is I get why people think she's great. I get it. But I also know that she was never supposed to be in this industry.
Yeah.
She was the only reason she did this is because her brother died.
Yep.
She took over the wrestling industry, or like she got into wrestling because her brother died. And that's why she did it. She didn't want to do it because of her dad. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to put the legacy of her brother's wrestling. And that's why she did it. And I'll give her that. She's good for that. She's a workhorse, yes. Does the WWE women's division suffer when she's not there? Yes. Does it suck when she's there? Yes. Because she takes a top spot all the time.
Right, right. I hate that about her too.
But I
she's
can appreciate her athleticism. I can
Yeah.
definitely appreciate her athleticism. But in saying that, I've also seen her fuck up moves that what people would call botches, and that she's supposedly fantastic at.
Yeah.
And yes, there's been some points where she's done the moonsault and it's been on the other wrestlers for the fuck up. But there's also been a lot of points where it's her fucking up complete on it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that Charlotte needs to be careful doing those moonsaults.
Yeah. But that's me. I'm not a fan of Charlotte. I was never really a fan of Mercedes or Sasha.
Whatever her name is.
I give the fact that they have a big name and they can draw eyes to the product.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You want people watching your product.
Right.
Just like we want people watching our YouTube shows.
Facts. That's
Speaking of that, have you got anything that you want to share with us, Dylan?
You have time? No, I'm kidding. We have a whole bunch of watch alongs and stuff that we do every single week over on the channel, from AEW to WWE to, of course, TNA. So tomorrow, or now, that'd be 12 a.m. Over here in the States, it is TNA Day, Thirsty Thursdays, as I call it. So we will be watching TNA tonight, and then, of course, Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Plus, of course, Collision Saturday, and then a new pod on Sunday. So make sure you come by and hang out with us as well, because we do bring a lot of great content over on the Last Week of Wrestling pod. And we have a lot of stuff to do. So there's a whole bunch of WrestleMania stuff in the works, and God only knows what else is to come. So
yeah, they're doing SmackDown in Memphis country, Lawler country.
In Lawler country, hopefully we see Lawler. Maybe we'll get a
Lawler
Memphis pop.
So
yeah.
I didn't go. I didn't get tickets.
I'm going to say this: next week we will not be here because Steven has to take his mum to get surgery. I will be working as well. So I won't be available, unfortunately, because I have a long as fuck day ahead of me that day. It's a big event for Australia. It's the Formula One Grand Prix, so it's going to be huge, and that goes over 4 days. So I'm going to be fucked next week.
Let me ask you all this, since we're not going to be live next week. You guys think Adam's going to beat Christian? I quit.
Yes.
Cards on the table say yes.
I think so too.
I say yes, only because I saw what was in that steel case on Collision.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a spoiler for that, but I'm not going to mention it. So you can find the picture on the internet, but you'll see more of that when that match happens, I reckon. So,
Yep.
I think it's going to be a bloody match, to say the least.
Yep, they'll be in Toronto next week.
Yeah. Other than that, Stephen, you got anything to plug?
No, just my Instagram right there, NOMS Giant 74. I really don't have very much of a social media presence, but I'm really trying. I'm trying to work my way up here.
You'll get there, Stephen. And look, we appreciate you being here. I appreciate Dylan from the Last Week in Wrestling podcast being here as well and coming in.
Always.
I appreciate ABJ for coming in as he did. I know he didn't stick around for long. He just got monetized, so fantastic news for him and fantastic for his brand that he's starting to finally get some recognition and build the follower base. Do yourself a favor, jump over to the Last Week in Wrestling pod on YouTube and also ABJ on YouTube. Give them a like and a subscribe.
Yep.
We've got our one follower on Twitter here, Alex, not Twitter, on Twitch, who joins us every week, and I appreciate Alex being here very much.
The Twitch King.
The Twitch King, yes. I really appreciate that, and that's why I continue to stream to Twitch. So,
Anthony's got a good point, though. I'll have to put him as a mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put him as a mod for sure.
Yeah. I've got to log back into Twitch, though, because I logged into Twitch in fucking forever. So,
because he's the only one on Twitch, so.
Yeah. But that's going to be it from us. We won't be here next week.
Yeah.
We may come back and do a special recap show later after the events of next week. We'll see how it goes and see my availability and everyone else's availability. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Always great to have you here. I've been Raz. That's been Steven. That's been Dylan. Have a wonderful night.
Have a good night.